It's totally fine.
Yeah, that
We're
I don't think
rolling.
you can. Hello and welcome to the first ever LMC Podcast. This is going to be your resource for hearing about events, past events, upcoming events, and I'm your host, Mike Wyban, joined by Brian Nels.
Yeah, we were racing at Pit Race this past weekend at the low key event, getting some practice in. Ryan Heiler goes, "Yeah, you got a 35 to beat, 35 flat to beat, because that was the fastest he ran in I think he said 3 or 4 runs." And so I got to the 35s, relatively in the same amount of time. 4 runs. I was at 35 flat, but getting into 34, man, it was tough. But once we figured it out, it was easy to lop off more time. But somehow Andrew flew out there, and his second run ran, I think, like a 34.7. And we were like, uh-oh, we're in trouble. So Andrew,
This car's working this year.
Yeah, he made some changes over the winter. What did he do? I know he got new wheels and tires. He was on the Bridgestone. He was on 205 Bridgestones last year, and now he has 225 RT660 pluses. What else did he change? We tightened up some subframe bolts that might have been loose. I think we did an alignment change. We went a little more aggressive. And then, shock tuning and stuff like that. I recall at the end of last year, it's the last event, and Andrew's like, "Man, everyone seems to be so much faster." And Jonathan goes, "Well, what are your shocks at?" He's like, "Whatever you set them at the shop." And we're like, "You gotta play with them. We don't know where they're at." And so Jonathan put something in there, and it felt so much better for him. So I think playing with the shocks is helping him too. But yeah, I think Andrew's going to be, I don't know, just from seeing at this testing tune, it might have been, I don't know, but he definitely had some aggression out of the gate, and he's a real threat.
Oh boy. Yeah, so I might have to change my change my predictions, huh? Well, this year, since I've done a full upgrade on my car, I'm hoping to start breaking at least into the top 5. But the top
buddy.
5 is a strong group, so we'll see if I get there.
All right, so who do you classify as the top 5? If you say it's a strong group.
Obviously you, last year's winner. Jonathan, he's always right there in second. I think that Ryan Hiller, he's doing pretty well. Joe Murphy, he's always up there. And then I actually had Andrew always in the sort of that top 5 also, even though last year he didn't run quite as well as he normally does. But then, you have the wild cards of Charles could figure out his car and be very fast in that NC.
And then big time.
The other Ryan.
Ryan McDonald.
Every time he shows up, he's fast.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
What the heck? That guy shows up out of nowhere, and then he gets second place at the national event. I'm like, who's this guy?
Yeah, he really knows that NC real well, and
yeah, he's had a lot of. So from what I perceive, him and Megan have gone to plenty of track days. He has a Mustang. I think it's like a GT350 or something. Pretty sweet car. but he also tracks that NC with Megan, and so I think he has a lot of seat time in that car, which is why when we were at the knockout round, he was able to be so consistent because he knows that car very well.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I'd seen them some point towards the end of the season last year. They were uh, up at Watkins Glen and all that, and it's like, man, got to get the car out, do some of those track days.
Yeah, that would be fun. That would be fun.
Yeah. So, who do you think is going to be your top five for Sunday?
Top five for Sunday. I hope I'm in there, but all I can do is hope. Um, the competition looks really stiff this year. I'm going to be honest. I feel like um, I can feel just from talking to people. I feel the expectation for me to perform, and it's overwhelming to me. Um, and it's a good tactic to get into my head, folks. So take that as you will. I hope I'll be in the top five. I think Jonathan will be up there. If Ryan McDonald ever shows up, he better be up there. Um, Andrew Mercer, I feel like he's got his car pretty dialed in this year. I feel like he's going to be in there. So what is that? Four.
Yep.
Um, there's a lot of good choices. There really are. Um, Jeez, man.
I
I,
think you're forgetting our number four winner from the past two seasons, Joe.
Joe, that's right. Yeah, Joe's really going to be a threat, man.
He's
He
been
uh,
just outside of the trophies the past 2 years.
he put in
But,
a lot of work into his car over the winter. I'm pretty sure. I
oh,
was
yeah.
talking to him. He's measuring every pound, every ounce, man. He got lighter speakers for the door. He's pulling as much weight out of that thing as he can.
Oh, yeah. He's going to be just over weigh-in weight.
I will say at pit race though, Jonathan was having some issues with his car. Um, Jonathan, he was trying to. So, as you know, he has this new spring package on his car. Um, the you When you buy a base set of Silver's coilovers, they come with 8K springs in the front and 6K springs in the back. Basically, 450 front, 350 rear. Jonathan, he's been doing a lot of engineering math over the winter because he's like, I gotta get good, and so he found these formulas that you can put in your, vehicle weight, all this stuff, and you can pick spring rate and sway bar length and all the numbers that you can measure on a Miata, and he put in all this math and he found that optimum spring rate is probably 550 450, um, given the numbers that it spit out for him. And so you also have that spring rate
I
550
do.
450. So that's 10K front, 8K rear. And so Jonathan went out to pit race this past weekend, and man, the car was just stupid loose. He's gonna try and put the sway bar on the stiffer setting. He was running the softer setting. He's gonna try and put the sway bar on the stiffer setting. Um, but yeah, it was a little. He was. It was a little bit challenging for him to try and you know wrangle what he thinks and what he's supposed to do. It. I kind of compared it to the Red Bull situation in F1, where they've built this car on paper that should be the fastest thing possible. But the only person who can drive it is Max Verstappen. Every other person who hops in the car just can't control the thing.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that's not the case. I know I've only truly driven it hard at the test and tune, but yeah, on the road it feels amazing. Um,
I know it feels so good.
there is potential that it's going to have to be playing more with the more with the shock settings at the lower side as opposed to the upper side. Um,
Hmm.
I know at the test and tune, I had to go full soft on them to get any grip whatsoever. Granted, also the tires were basically brand new, so
And
it
let's
was
not
real
forget there was
slidey.
like an inch of water on the ground.
There was a lot of water on the ground.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't mean to, have the cone clip on the one that I had the camera facing right back
Yep.
at the tire for, but that was
Yeah.
that was pretty solid.
That was a happy accident. It's a good
It
clip.
was, yeah, and it hit the wheel, so it didn't actually like scratch the paint.
Right, there you go. Yeah. I have this stuff. It's Mother's R3 and you spray it on and it's for removing rubber. So you spray it on the rubber, you let it sit for like 30 seconds a minute and then it just wipes right off. It's great. So anyone who
Uh,
has cone marks on their car, I'd recommend Mother's R3. I can't recommend the stuff anymore because it just works. It's great.
yeah, I'll have to check that out because I have definitely some big cone marks on the front bumper of my car,
Hmm.
and occasionally on the door. Um,
Occasionally on the door when you get that nice slidey action into the cone.
yeah,
I know you
yeah,
had that oh crap moment the first season when you spun out at Misery Bay and you like went completely sideways in the slalom. Do you remember that?
oh yeah, yeah. It was everyone's like, oh, you can flat out the slalom. I couldn't.
That was great.
Yeah, I think I got a little bit
That's on
behind
video
and just
somewhere.
trying to catch it.
Oh,
Yep,
and then your hood
that's
popped.
yeah. So this weekend though, it's IX Center and it's a co-event with NE Ohio, so a lot of cars.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully a
Hopefully.
decent number of cars.
Let me see how many
Weather
people are registered for
is
that. So there, it shows there's 68 or sorry, 61 drivers registered for the event this weekend as of today, Tuesday the 13th at 9:48 p.m.
that's pretty good. So
61 drivers and let's see how many are LMC. 30. Half the field is Miatas. Perfect.
that's that's what's so nice about the LMC series is what like half the field, half the cars at an entire event are in a single class,
It's great. I
um,
love
and
it.
that's just a standard local, and that is not a
This is just a local event.
nationals event or anything like that. I mean, yeah, I know in like the SSC cars at nationals, you might get 25, 30 cars, but 25 to 30 cars is pretty much our standard every event. So that many cars in one
Oh,
class is amazing.
sorry. That was that um okay. So that was primary drivers, I guess. There's 30 primary drivers and there's 6 co-drivers in LMC. And Ryan McDonald is signed up. Oh boy,
Oh, he
here we
is there
go.
now. Oh,
He is signed up. Oh
man, I
boy.
gotta change my top five.
Speaking
But
of someone who was doing good at pit race, James, aka Puke, he was doing really good. Yeah, he's really picked up the pace this year. So
that's
I expect to see good things out of him.
well, it's great to see. I know towards the end of the last season, I was running pretty darn close to him, but that was pre-suspension. So
Yeah.
um, I'm very hopeful that 'cause last year I was generally running 10th, 11th for most of
Hmm.
the season. Then a couple really good events bumped me up to I think I finished 8th. I think is that what it was? Yeah, yeah, 8th. So hopefully this year um, I'll move up from there. But if everybody else is moving up too, then it may be a harder fight to get up there. Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, it could be it could be the difference this year of like half a second differentiates 10 positions.
It's crazy, man. There's a noticeable shift between the attitude in the series. Season 1 to season 2, people are like, "Oh, okay, yeah, this is fun. I can spend a little more money on this, right? I can, go a little further." Season 2 to season 3, people are getting serious, man, and it's like, "Oh my gosh, here we go. Real racing." Oh
Oh
man.
yeah, I mean anybody who is close to the front is definitely doing everything they can to get
Oh
closer.
my gosh, dude. Yeah,
You
it's
got a target
bad.
on your back, man.
I know, man. I get reminded every day. Ugh.
Well, you almost had an issue at the last event, or well, what second to last event last year? You had what an ignition issue or something on your
That
car?
was the last event. That was the last
Was
event. Yeah, my car was not doing good. Um, so I figured out it was a crank trigger or the um, crank position sensor. The wires just crapped out on the inside, I guess, and so the sensor was reading improperly, and the computer was freaking out and it didn't know what was going on. So like there were a few runs I would go, it would cut out signal for a second and then it would come back, but then the seconds became minutes, and then that's when things went bad. So like on my way to the event, driving down the highway, I'd be hitting bumps and my engine would be. You would watch the tacho bop bop bop, and it was kind of scary. I'm driving to the event, driving down Route 2 on the concrete highway, and it's just like cutting in and out, and I'm freaking out like, oh my god, am I even gonna make it to the event? But then I get there and it's fine all morning, and then afternoon comes, it's time to perform, and my car starts cutting out, and I'm like, oh crap. And so I go in under the hood and I'm jiggling wires like, please come back to life. Um, and like it came back, and then I did would go for a run out on course, and it would cut out, and I'm like, I gotta drive back to the finish and try and figure this out. So I'd go under the hood, jiggle some more wires, and then it would stop, and then I was able to make a run. But then on my way home, I pull out. I'm on top of the world, man. I got my trophy in the passenger seat with the seat buckle wrapped around it, and I'm driving home. I go south on 91, and I'm heading to 2. And you go under the underpass, and then there's a light, and I stop at the light, and then my car shuts off, and I'm cranking, 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 nothing.
oh
Oh
man,
boy! And so I get out of the car. Well, I don't get out of the car yet. I'm still cranking. The light goes green. People start driving past me. There's a whole line behind me. And I'm like, oh boy, here we go. So I get out of the car and I start pushing. Thank goodness Charles was behind me. He pulled right up and he helped me push it off the road into the bank. It was a bank parking lot. And then we waited there for, fortunately, I work for this great company called Lever Engineering, and they have a trailer specifically designed for hauling Miatas that need work done on them. And so I had it hauled to the Miata specialist shop so that the specialists there could work on it. Um, but yeah, it was a crank trigger issue, and we got it figured out.
well,
So
that's good. I assume it's all fixed for this season.
it is all fixed. No more crank trigger issue.
No more wishful thinking for anybody else in the series, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, you can't kill my alternator this year. I had an alternator die at well, it was the national tour. It
Yeah,
died
that's right. Yeah.
on Yeah, that's right. It was the national tour. It died after the first day, and so I had to try and figure out, where can I get an alternator. My car was like crapping out on the way home. I was at East 55th, and the battery light came on, and I'm like, uh oh. I
Not the
pull
best part to
over.
be.
No, no. Well, it's okay. I'm familiar with that area. That's where my school was, so it's
Oh
not.
yeah, yeah.
I'm a little numb to it, um, but um, I ended up making it back to the shop on battery power, um, and so I get to the shop and I'm like, all right, where's the closest alternator? It's in Brook Park, where I was just at. So I'm like, is there anything else I can do? And fortunately, we had a parts car sitting outside that I stole the alternator off of, and I put it on, and then I made it to the event the next day. But that was fun. So
Hey, just keep having mechanicals with your car.
it's
Too
part
rough
of
on it.
racing,
You should probably
man. It's
slow it
part of.
down.
I am a little rough on my car, man. I beat the crap out of it.
I mean, what, you blew up a diff the first year, or was that the second year?
No, so I bought the car with a, I guess you could call it blown. They're just destined for the scrapyard, really. These Fuji, whatever the heck, they put in the, I think it's 2003 through 2005. Um, they have the way, so pre the Fuji, it was the Torsen, which is from 94 through, I guess, 2002, maybe. Um, those, strong as a brick wall. They hold up. Um, these Fuji's, man, they I don't know. Whoever was designing them was not uh, in the right state of mind because they have clutches or they have a one singular clutch in it, and the clutch has four teeth that go into the housing, and the teeth are like maybe the size of my pointer finger, right? Like from this section up, and you're dumping the clutch, doing burnouts and whatever the heck, and that just doesn't hold up. And so these little teeth break off, and then your limited slip is unlimited. Um, you got an
Yeah,
unlimited
you
slip diff, man,
you
and that's
just
no
go
good for
straight to the
racing.
open diff. Actually, I mean,
That's right.
yeah,
Well, it was
fully open slash slipping entirely.
right. Yeah. And so I we had not heard of this issue before I bought this car because Jonathan had never owned one of these vehicles before. We've really learned a lot about the differences between MB1 and MB2 by just me owning one, which is pretty cool. Um, but we bought, I found this, we've actually put it in a few of the LMC cars out there. It's made by Speedmaster, and it's basically a Chinese knockoff of a Torsen. It has good parts, and it works. I'm very satisfied with it. I have one in my car. I recommend it to all the folks who want to switch over from a open diff to a Torsen and they're looking to rebuild their diff. Um, and Yeah, it works great. But yeah,
So,
that went in the week before the testing tune for season one.
okay, yeah,
I seem to cut it close every year.
your car seems to have the most things going on with it. I mean, you've replaced the diff, you've replaced the transmission. Now that
I
was going
have
from a 6 to a 5.
that
You know,
was.
you got your electrical gremlins. How many
Hmm.
times you replaced a brake caliper?
This is true. I decided to do poly bushings between a race. I think it was like a week or two that I had. I think it was a week I had to do a poly bushing swap on my suspension. So that was fun. I was at the shop every night after work doing poly bushings on my car. And while I was in there, I might as well restore my control arms. So that added to that definitely added to the process.
For
Um,
sure. But
yeah.
hey, I had you guys do my rubber bushings, a week before the test and tune
That
last
is
season.
right. That's right. Yeah. Oh
And
my gosh, I
boy, did
remember
it
you
make a
driving
difference.
around. You were running adjustable alignment, or what was
Yep.
it? Like a variable alignment or something.
Yeah, I had
Active
caster
alignment.
loss, or no, I had camber loss when loaded,
Yeah, it was
but
so bad.
but gaining a lot of caster when unloaded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Which certainly explains why, like the last three events of the first season, the car just felt super pushy. Like
Mm-hmm.
it felt like it had no front end. And I probably should have found that earlier, but instead I waited till a week before the event, the first
Hey,
event for the second season.
it spices things up a little bit, man.
Oh
Ask me
yeah,
how I know.
yeah, no, it made a huge difference. Yeah, well, I definitely hope to see a lot of a lot of new cars competing in there. I know I got to shout out my nemesis Logan. I've
That's right.
past two seasons been fighting with him the whole time, back and forth. I just beat him out in the last event last year. I think going into it, we were like close to tied or something. Um,
Yeah.
but I pulled off like actually a really good final event, and managed to pull ahead of both Logan and Megan. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully this season it'll be even more.
Yeah, especially with the new suspension parts.
Yeah, hopefully I don't have the slidey issue, but I'm still running the race beat front bar on full stiff because you can't run it on the softer setting because it rubs against the shock.
So it does rub against the shock, but if you think about it,
They move in
um,
conjunction so that doesn't really rub, but
yes,
I feel weird about
yes,
it.
I have mine on the softer setting currently. So another thing that's weird with the NB2s versus the NB1s is Racing Beat sells a thicker sway bar. So I think the sway bar for the NB1 is 1 inch, and I think the sway bar for the NB2 is like 1 and an eighth or 1 and a quarter. Like it's a lot bigger.
But
And it
did they
comes.
go tubular or
It
is it
is
still
tubular.
solid? Yeah.
Well, the NB1 is tubular as well.
Yeah, I think they offered it both as tubular and as solid.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Um, but I have the stiffer sway bar on my car, so my softest setting is your stiffest setting.
Okay.
So I think I'd like to go a little bit softer, but for now I'm just gonna run what I got. Um, but I did last year. I was on the stiffer setting. I was on the race lands. Now I have adjustable stuff, so I can do a little more. So I am running the softer setting, and we'll see how that works.
Yeah, you're running Jonathan's setup from last year,
That's right. I
essentially.
got his hand-me-down coilovers. Jonathan bought the new shiny ones, and I said, "Let me get those old crusty boys and put them on my car."
Well, we'll see. We'll see what, if the stiffer spring rates works out in the long run. But
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. Is there anyone else who opted for that package? I know he was shopping it around. I don't know if anyone else
I
opted for that package.
don't think so. Because what you call it? Scott got his last year before um, Jonathan was messing around with it,
Doing
and I think
maths.
yeah, and then I think Matt also got the softer
Hmm.
setup. So I'm not sure if anyone else except for me went that route.
It's the risk reward thing. It might turn out to be really stinking good. It's high risk though, because the other set, like the 6 or 8K, 6K, it's proven. like everyone. I don't. Jonathan lets everyone drive his car, so everyone's felt that thing, and like, yeah, it feels good. So
Yeah,
it's
and
an
I know at the
experimental territory.
last event last year, driving everyone's car, Jonathan's car was the one that I ran the fastest time in. Um, your car, I just can't see out of because you sit like below the ground somehow.
It's great, man. I love it. I feel like I'm hunkered down in there.
Yeah, and then Joe's felt good, but I did not quite get along with it the same way that I got along with Jonathan's. But that the NC, so Ryan and Megan's NC, that was actually the second fastest car I ran there. But in both
But
cases, both those cars were like a second faster than my fastest lap that I posted that event. So
yeah,
so definitely looking forward to seeing how close I am now.
I think you're gonna do really good this year. I'm looking forward to it.
Hope so.
I believe in you, Mike. I believe in you.
I hope that's the case. I hope I'm fighting for top threes and not just trying to get into the top five.
Yeah, man. It's quite a thrill, man. But in the end, we're all there to have fun. That's the baseline. If you're not having fun, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, and when your car actually works, it is a lot of fun.
It
I
is.
will
It
say that
really
the,
is.
the, the, the failing bushings of the, after at the end of the first season, that one was a little bit of a struggle for me.
Hmm.
That one bothered me a bit, but once it got fixed, it was all better. All smiles from then on.
Right. Yeah. I know when I had the 6 speed in my car, I was struggling a little bit. There were times where I was like, man, if only I had a 5 speed. But now that I have a 5 speed, it's a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah, but we don't get to hear your car going beep, 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 for like 5 seconds.
That was always a hoot, man. Just hear me slap the limiter for a long time. Oh,
Oh
there's
yeah.
Brian. He's running.
Yeah, everybody else might touch a limiter at the end of the straight. You got it like halfway in.
Yeah, right. Oh man, that was always
Uh,
great. Season. I'm really looking forward to the. I'm really looking forward to the season. Um, it's going to be a blast. There's so many new people, so many great people who are in the series. I've made a lot of friends in this series, so it's always good having new folks come in and show them the way of the Miat.
yeah, that's for sure. I'm definitely excited to see how everybody does this year, especially see how I do this year. And I think that we are going to have the most competitive year yet. It's going to be the hardest to get to the top. I mean, if we can have 5 different winners, that'd be great. Five different winners in 7 events, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, I can.
That works. All right, well, it's good times, and we'll see you guys Sunday.
Yep. See everybody Sunday. Goodbye, everybody.